What would your life look like if people truly respected you? Not the shallow, surface-level respect that vanishes the moment you're not useful, but deep, unwavering respect, the kind that can't be faked or forced. Here's the truth. Respect isn't given freely, and it isn't something you can demand. It's earned, slowly, intentionally, by the way you carry yourself, the choices you make, and the habits you practice every single day. But here's the harsh reality. Most people will never experience true respect. Why? Because they cling to habits that quietly sabotage their worth. Habits like making excuses, seeking validation, or losing control of their emotions. I've been there. I thought being agreeable, over-accommodating, and constantly available would make people value me. Instead, I only felt smaller and more invisible. The Stoics understood that respect begins within. It comes from self-mastery, from aligning your actions with your values, and from cutting out anything that undermines your dignity. If you don't respect yourself enough to let go of what's holding you back, why should anyone else? In this video, we'll uncover 6 toxic habits that are quietly destroying the respect you could have in your life. These habits don't just damage your relationships, they erode the foundation of your character. Remove them, and you'll start earning the kind of respect that no one can take away. Stay with me, because the change starts now. Habit number 1, always making excuses. Let's start with a hard truth. Making excuses is the quickest way to ensure you'll never be respected. At some point, we've all done it, blaming traffic, a late co-worker, or the infamous life happens. You might even think your excuses are valid, but here's the reality: nobody cares. People don't respect excuses, they respect results. I used to live in a constant cycle of excuses. I'd show up late and always have a good reason. Traffic, unexpected delays, or last-minute surprises were my go-to explanations. I thought as long as my excuses made sense, I'd be off the hook. But over time, something shifted. People stopped trusting me. Friends started doubting whether I'd actually show up when they needed me. My boss began assigning important tasks to others. Even my family subtly stopped relying on me. I couldn't figure it out. Why wasn't anyone taking me seriously? The truth hit me like a punch in the gut. It didn't matter how valid my excuses were. The result was the same. I failed to show up. And when people see you as unreliable, respect starts to slip through your fingers. The Stoics taught that we cannot control external events, like traffic or delays, but we can control how we prepare and respond. Every time I blamed the world around me, I was avoiding the one thing within my control: myself. Whether I was late because I overslept or because of a traffic jam, the responsibility was mine. Excuses weren't just damaging my reputation, they were revealing a deeper issue. I wasn't in control of my life. I remember one particular moment that changed everything. I was late, again, and gave my usual excuse about traffic. Someone looked me in the eye and said, "Why didn't you leave earlier?" That simple question stung because it was the truth I'd been avoiding. I was the problem, not the world around me. From that moment, I made a decision. No more excuses. If I messed up, I'd own it. If I was late, I wouldn't hide behind a story. I'd simply apologize. And you know what happened? People started to respect me again. Taking responsibility for my actions showed them that I was no longer trapped in a victim mindset. Excuses are more than just words. They're a mindset that keeps you small. When you blame circumstances for your failures, you tell the world and yourself that you're powerless. But when you stop making excuses, you shift your perspective. You stop being the victim and start taking control. Here's the Stoic perspective. Accountability is freedom. When you own your actions, you're no longer at the mercy of external forces. People respect those who take ownership of their lives because it shows strength, maturity, and reliability. Next time you feel an excuse bubbling up, pause. Take a breath and ask yourself, what can I own here? Even a simple, "That's on me, I'll do better next time," will earn you more respect than the best excuse ever could. Remember, respect begins with how you treat yourself. If you keep lying to yourself with excuses, you'll never inspire confidence in others. Own your life, break the habit, and watch how quickly respect finds its way to you. Habit number 2, being lazy. Let me be brutally honest. If you're lazy, no one will ever respect you, and they shouldn't. I know that sounds harsh, but the truth often is. You can have all the talent, potential, and dreams in the world, but none of that matters if you're unwilling to put in the effort. Respect doesn't come from what you could do, it comes from what you do. And laziness? It's the ultimate betrayal of your potential. I used to think I could coast by on my natural abilities. I was smart enough to get decent results with minimal effort, and for a while, it worked. People might have even called me capable or gifted, but deep down, I knew they didn't truly respect me. Why? Because laziness isn't about ability, it's about effort, and effort is the currency of respect. I'll never forget the moment this truth hit me. I was part of a group project, and while everyone else gave it their all, I did the bare minimum. I thought I could skate by unnoticed, but when it came time to present, my lack of effort was glaringly obvious. The disappointment in their eyes said it all. I hadn't just let them down, I had let myself down. It wasn't about the project, it was about my unwillingness to rise to the occasion. In that moment I realized that laziness wasn't just holding me back, it was actively destroying the respect I wanted so badly. The thing about laziness is that it's impossible to hide. You might think no one notices when you're slacking, but they do. They see it in your work, your attitude, and the way you carry yourself. And the worst part? Laziness doesn't just affect you, it drags others down with you. When people see you cutting corners or avoiding hard work, they start expecting less from you. And when people stop expecting anything from you, respect dies. Here's the deeper truth. Laziness is a form of self-sabotage. It's not just about lacking energy or motivation, it's a mindset. It's telling yourself that comfort is more important than growth, that you can get by without pushing yourself. But every time you choose laziness, you choose to stay small. You choose stagnation over progress. And trust me, no one respects stagnation. People admire growth, resilience, and effort, the willingness to embrace discomfort in the pursuit of something greater. The Stoics believed that effort and discipline are what shape our character. They taught that virtue lies in doing what is right, even when it's difficult. Laziness, on the other hand, is the rejection of that effort. It's choosing to take the easy road, not realizing that the easy road leads nowhere. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. I thought that by avoiding hard work, I was being smart, that I was saving my energy. But here's the truth. Success isn't about talent or intelligence alone. It's about perseverance, discipline, and the willingness to show up even when you don't feel like it. Laziness robs you of all of that. You can't hide laziness. It shows in your actions, your words, and your approach to challenges. And when people see that you're unwilling to push yourself, they'll never trust you with responsibility, leadership, or respect. If you want to be respected, you must make a choice. Let go of laziness and embrace effort. Show the world and yourself that you're willing to put in the work. Respect doesn't come to those who sit idle. It comes to those who show up, give their best, and grow beyond their limits. Habit number 3, neglecting your personal appearance. Here's a truth most people are too polite to tell you. How you present yourself speaks louder than your words ever will. If you neglect your personal appearance, don't be surprised when people fail to respect you. Now you might think, but isn't it superficial to judge someone based on how they look? Sure, it might feel shallow on the surface, but let's get real. Your appearance is a reflection of how much you respect yourself. And if you don't respect yourself, why would anyone else? I used to believe the same thing. I thought, people should value me for who I am, not how I look. So I'd roll out of bed, throw on whatever was clean, and show up. I told myself I was being authentic, but in truth, I was just being lazy. And guess what? It showed. People didn't take me seriously. I didn't command attention in conversations or meetings, and I certainly didn't give off the energy of someone who had their life together. One day, I hit a breaking point. I walked into an important event wearing wrinkled clothes, with unkempt hair and no effort whatsoever. From the moment I entered the room, I felt the judgment. People interacted with me differently, distant, dismissive, like I wasn't even there. Meanwhile, those who had put effort into their appearance were commanding respect effortlessly. That moment opened my eyes. My neglect wasn't just affecting me, it was shaping how others saw me. Here's the deeper truth. Your personal appearance is a form of non-verbal communication. It sends a message to the world. I respect myself, and I take this seriously. When you put effort into your appearance, whether it's dressing neatly, grooming yourself, or simply looking clean and intentional, you signal to others that you value yourself. That effort is contagious. It makes people want to listen to you, trust you, and yes, respect you. Think about it. When someone walks into a room disheveled and unkempt, the first impression is almost always negative. You subconsciously think, if they don't care about themselves, how can I expect them to care about anything else? Work, relationships, responsibilities. On the other hand, when someone shows up well-groomed and put together, they project confidence and discipline, two qualities that naturally inspire respect. This isn't about vanity, it's about self-respect. Taking care of your appearance shows that you value yourself enough to put in the effort, and when you respect yourself, others will follow suit. After my wake-up call, I made a deliberate change. I started dressing with intention, paying attention to grooming, and showing up as the best version of myself. The results were immediate. People took me more seriously. They listened when I spoke. And most importantly, I felt more confident and in control of my life. The Stoics believed in discipline in every aspect of life, and appearance is no exception. First impressions matter, and they're heavily influenced by how you carry yourself. Neglecting your appearance sends the message that you don't care, and if you don't care, neither will anyone else. So take the extra time, put in the effort, show the world and yourself that you're someone worthy of respect, because respect always begins with how you treat yourself. Habit number 4, ignoring boundaries. If there's one thing that will make people lose respect for you faster than anything, it's ignoring their boundaries. Boundaries aren't suggestions, they're essential. When you dismiss or overlook them, what you're really saying is, your feelings, space, and comfort don't matter to me. And let's be honest, No one respects someone who behaves that way. I learned this the hard way. I used to believe that being deeply involved in people's lives was a sign of caring. I thought offering constant advice, checking in on every little thing, or inserting myself into their problems was what a good friend or concerned colleague should do. But in truth, I wasn't helping. I was suffocating. Because I didn't understand or respect other people's boundaries, they didn't respect me in return. One particular moment stands out. A close friend had started pulling away, and I couldn't understand why. I was texting her constantly, calling her daily, and trying to involve myself in every aspect of her life. Finally, she confronted me. "I just need some space. It feels like you don't understand that." That hit me like a ton of bricks. By ignoring her need for boundaries, I had undermined her trust and lost her respect. Here's the truth. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're bridges to healthier relationships. They're a way for people to protect their mental, emotional, and physical well-being. When you ignore someone's boundaries, what you're really saying is, "My needs matter more than your comfort." That's not just disrespectful, it's selfish. The Stoics taught that respect is rooted in recognizing and honoring the autonomy of others. Respect isn't about being agreeable or polite. It's about understanding that every person has the right to say no, set limits, and protect their space. When you respect someone's boundaries, you're acknowledging their individuality, their humanity. And when you do that, respect flows naturally in return. I had to learn to take a step back, to give people space without taking it personally. The funny thing, when I started respecting boundaries, my relationships grew stronger. People trusted me more, valued me more, and felt safer around me. This lesson doesn't just apply to friendships. It's just as crucial in the workplace. Maybe you've pushed a co-worker who values independence for constant updates, or perhaps you've overwhelmed a busy boss with unnecessary information. In both cases, you're not just frustrating people, you're eroding their respect by disregarding their preferences and time. Here's the deeper truth. Boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They're about keeping relationships healthy. Every time you ignore a boundary, you chip away at the trust someone has in you. And without trust, there is no respect. If you want to earn respect, start paying attention to the boundaries people set, whether they're subtle or direct. Don't take them as a personal rejection. Instead, see them as an opportunity to show that you value their comfort and autonomy. When you honor boundaries, you build trust, and with trust comes respect. You'll find that people feel safer around you, value your presence, and see you as someone who truly understands what it means to respect others. That's how you cultivate relationships built on mutual respect. And that's how you become someone worth respecting. Habit number 5, taking credit for others' work. Taking credit for someone else's work is one of the fastest ways to destroy respect, not just from the person whose effort you stole, but from everyone who witnesses it. It's a dishonest and self-serving habit that shatters trust. And once that trust is broken, rebuilding it is an uphill battle. This isn't just unethical, it's a guaranteed way to sabotage your reputation. I'll be honest, this is a lesson I learned the hard way. Early in my career, I was desperate to make a name for myself. During a team project, I contributed a fair amount, but one of my colleagues went above and beyond. When it came time to present the results, I carefully framed my words to make it seem like I'd done more of the heavy lifting than I actually had. I didn't outright lie, but I made sure the spotlight stayed on me, not on the person who truly deserved it. At first, it felt amazing. The praise rolled in, and I was basking in the recognition I craved. But here's the thing, people always find out the truth. It wasn't long before my colleague realized what I'd done, and soon enough, others did too. The admiration I had soaked up quickly turned into doubt, disappointment, and distrust. It was a painful wake-up call. Respect isn't earned through shortcuts. It's earned through integrity, honesty, and the willingness to share credit where it's due. Here's the deeper truth. When you take credit for someone else's work, you're not just stealing their effort, you're betraying yourself. You're sending a clear message that you don't trust your own abilities enough to stand on your own. It's a reflection of insecurity, not strength. Respect is rooted in authenticity, and taking credit undermines that foundation entirely. Think about the damage this habit causes. Once people see you as someone who takes credit unfairly, your reputation takes a serious hit. Colleagues will hesitate to collaborate with you, friends will doubt your sincerity, and opportunities will slip through your fingers because people won't trust you. You'll gain a reputation as someone who only looks out for themselves. And trust me, once that label sticks, it's nearly impossible to shake. But it's not just about your reputation. Taking credit robs others of their hard-earned sense of accomplishment. Imagine putting your heart and soul into a project, only to have someone else take the recognition that belongs to you. It's demoralizing and breeds resentment. Over time, this habit doesn't just burn bridges, it burns trust, the foundation of all respect. The Stoics taught that true success is rooted in virtue. Taking credit for others' work is the opposite of that. It's hollow, fleeting, and ultimately self-destructive. Real respect comes from lifting others up, not pushing them down to make yourself look better. Leaders who share the spotlight aren't diminished by it. They're elevated because they show confidence, fairness, and integrity. So, how do you break this habit? Start by owning up to your mistakes. If you've taken credit that wasn't yours, acknowledge it. Apologize to the person you wronged and give them the recognition they deserve. Moving forward, commit to celebrating the contributions of those around you. When you share credit, you're building trust, strengthening relationships, and showing that you value collaboration over competition. At its core, taking credit for others' work isn't a sign of strength. It's a sign of weakness. It shows you care more about the appearance of success than the substance of it. But when you celebrate others' efforts and act with fairness and humility, you become someone people admire, trust, and respect. That's the kind of person worth following. Habit number 6. Being emotionally reactive. Being emotionally reactive is one of the most destructive habits you can have if you want to be respected. It's not just about angry outbursts or dramatic reactions. It's about letting your emotions dictate your actions, your words, and even your decisions. When people see that you can't control your emotions, they won't trust you with responsibility, leadership, or even friendship. Why? Because emotional reactivity signals instability, unpredictability, and, frankly, immaturity. I've been there. There was a time in my life when I was completely ruled by my emotions. If something upset me, I'd lash out or retreat into hours of sulking. If someone criticized me, I'd snap back defensively, raising my voice or storming off. Looking back, it's embarrassing. At the time, I thought I was standing up for myself, but in reality, I was just showing the world how little control I had over myself. And that's the key. People don't respect someone who can't even govern their own feelings. Think about it. Who do we admire? The person who stays calm under pressure, who handles criticism with grace, and who keeps their composure even when the world is falling apart. That's true strength. Emotional reactivity, on the other hand, sends the opposite message. It tells the world that your emotions are in charge, not your rational mind. Let's dig deeper. Emotional reactivity isn't a sign of passion or care. It's a sign of insecurity. It often stems from trying to protect something fragile within yourself, your ego, your self-image, or your fear of being hurt. But here's the harsh truth. No one respects fragility when it's wrapped in overreaction. People start to see you as a burden, someone they need to tiptoe around, instead of a reliable, strong individual. I once worked with someone who was the textbook definition of emotionally reactive. In meetings, if someone disagreed with her, she'd either lash out or completely shut down. It felt like walking on eggshells around her, and as a result, people stopped including her in important discussions. Despite being talented, her emotional instability overshadowed everything else. She wasn't trusted to handle feedback, and respect for her disappeared. Here's the truth. Being emotionally reactive doesn't make you look strong. It makes you look weak. You might think you're showing passion, but what you're really showing is a lack of control. And when people see that, they don't respect you. They pity you. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that while we can't control what happens around us, we can always control how we respond. That's where true power lies, in choosing to stay grounded. When you remain calm, you think clearly, make better decisions, and maintain your dignity. You don't burn bridges, say things you'll regret, or ruin important relationships. I'll never forget a moment in my own life when I almost lost someone important to me. During a heated argument with a close friend, emotions were running high. I was on the verge of saying something I couldn't take back. But I stopped, took a deep breath, and stepped back. Instead of lashing out, I chose to listen. That choice didn't just save the conversation, it saved the friendship. Respect comes from self-mastery. The ability to control your emotions is one of the clearest signs of inner strength. When you stay composed, you command respect, not just from others, but from yourself. And that's a respect no one can take away. Respect isn't something you demand. It's something you earn through integrity, discipline, and the willingness to grow. The toxic habits we've explored today slowly erode respect, no matter how talented or intelligent you are. True respect comes from self-mastery, consistency, and taking responsibility for your life. Think about the people you admire. They're not perfect, but they're steady, reliable, and resilient under pressure. If you're ready to build the respect you deserve, start by respecting yourself enough to break free from these habits. Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more insights, and like this video if it resonated with you. Remember, small changes lead to big transformations. See you in the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into unlocking your true potential.